first and foremost, congratulations on your season 2 renewal. I'm super excited
Thank
about
you.
it.
Me too.
um, you guys had an amazing first season, and the finale was just the icing on a cake of not only your character but everyone's characters. The developments this season were fantastic, but I have to ask you, the final moments in the finale, what was your reaction to filming that scene, and not only that, but reading the script for it?
Well, I mean, I know that many fans have been amazingly enough, thinking about this plot twist for a while and kind of coming up with it early in the season. But I know that Elliot did it, and it was something that none of us had any clue of, and that like miraculously developed throughout the season. And so, therefore, it was a major, it's a big shocker when I read the script or heard about it, because we got the when we started filming the season, we found out what the plot, like what the what's it called, the range, the arc for each and every character from episode 1 to 7, I think, and then the rest was kind of a mystery, and they kind of kept it kept it in the dark from it. So therefore, it was just mind blowing and so much fun to find that out, and it just sets the stakes even higher for the spree and their connection with the military. And I have theories of my own. And does Petra Bellwether know much about this? She said some things about Willa Collar, and and filming it was just surreal. I had met the actress only for the reading, the pilot reading. So it was fun to see her again, and her character has been present with us, because I'm always in the scenes with Raylla. One of the big things is like we both lost a parent, or I lost two, and therefore that's something, that sorrow and that grief is constantly present in Silla and Rayalla's connection. So it was, Willa Collar was a major part of that. So it was so much fun to be filming that scene. And it was also fun to be out of the cell, of course, and out in the open. So it was a great day.
Well, what do you think fans can expect between Silla and Raylla in season 2, now that we know what this big plot twist is? And CL, I've been guessing. I don't know. I can only theorize, but I'll leave that to the writers to actually explain what's going on. But what can fans expect from the 2 next season?
Well, I would say that fans should expect them not to give up on one another. And I think that it's in Silla's favor in many ways that Willa Collar is part of Spree, because then there's 2 people Raylla loves, and she might be more open to listen to the motives behind it and really wrap her head around it even more. So I think that's in Silla's favor without being pushy, of course. It would be an organic understanding and voluntarily. Other than that, I think they both have a big part of growing to do on their own. They've had a bumpy season with so much going on, so many actions to reevaluate and loyalties to figure out. So I think they will grow to be reunited. That's what I'm hoping and think, because in my heart, Raylla is endgame. So
I completely agree with you on that. Another relationship that actually grew over this season, and I thought was one of the best scenes in the season finale, was Silla and Anacostia's scene at the end, where they're talking to each other, and you can feel that they've kind of grown a connection, and then she lets her go at the end. And so I kind of want to get your feelings regarding that scene and the relationship between the 2 as the season has gone on.
Thank you so much. Those scenes, everything, every scene I got to do with Anacostia was always such a treat. We had a blast working that out together, and the intensity was so much fun. And both our characters are such energetic and intense people, and we really just both brought that and threw it in each other's faces. And that's why it was so much fun to elevate that into the intimate moment that is that connection of two orphans and two fighters for respectively good causes in their own minds. Yeah, I guess my feelings are just it was a gift, and yeah, to tap into that together with Demetra McKinney, who I have an enormous respect for, and I'm very inspired by her. That was, yeah, I felt like I grew in my acting personally, and I feel like both Silla and Anacostia grew in their empathy for other people too. So, yeah, I agree. I really liked that scene a lot. It was an intense day.
I can imagine. Well, one of the other things I loved so much about your character this season, and she said it in the finale, is, you know, she's kind of standing for like what she believes in, and, you know, with the spree, and not everyone sees eye to eye to that. And I think that's such an important theme that ran throughout the entire season, is not everyone is seeing eye to eye, but you have to find a way to work with one another. And do you think that kind of is how it's going to be with Silla going forward, is trying to, you know, with Raylla and Anacostia, the entire crew, saying like, my views may be different, but they're no different than, like, we're all standing for the same thing. So do you think that's going to be something she continues to push as we go into the next season?
Oh, absolutely. Silla has said it several times, and she's brought up to believe that the persecution of witches haven't stopped, really. And they're still, even though it looks like the symbol of them running the army and having some actual hard power, of course, looks like they're in power or they're normalized, but they aren't. So the reset, the return to Eden, to use Silla's own words, and the belief that witches, as a people, in a way, or with the feature of being a witch, should be treated equally or respected in society, and not only be put on earth to give up their lives for ungrateful civilians.
Yeah.
So I think absolutely that is a core question that will follow us and Silla into the next season.
Well,
and for many, I think it's one of the big questions for the Motherland universe.
No, I completely agree with you. As you look back on this first season, is there a moment that really stands out to you that either was a favorite for you or a turning point really for you, that you're like, this is it, this is who my character is, and kind of was like maybe a settling moment that was like, we've got this?
What a good question. My mind is spinning, and the first stop would be, I think, in episode 2 already, when Silla is still her target in many ways, but she's also absolutely like starting to fall for her in some way, and she's just the connection of the two, both having suffered loss and also Silla being a necro, and she shows her just the fact that she wants to show Raylla something beautiful. I just love how both Silla and Raylla are so generous to one another, and that really helped me put a pin to what Silla wants to give to the world, and also what she hopes to receive. So I think that was a lot of it. Also, her tremendous angst over the little quick decision she had to make when she knew that Porter was on the base, and he knew, and he was obviously very upset about it, and it looked like he was gonna rat on her. So that decision that she made was not at all easy, and it was out of desperation and panic, and just the fact that the consequences that had for Raylla was also something that just, for the first time ever, Silla's fight actually had consequences for something else in her life that she cared even more about. She once loved Porter. She now just have very strong feelings for Raylla. And yeah, I think just it's a very big part of the coming of age or growing up is to realize the consequences your actions have for other people. And I think Silla's realizing that, but in a very big scale, of course, because her actions aren't just your usual teenage mistakes. So,
no,
yeah, I think those two moments.
I love that you brought up those two moments, especially the one with Porter, because that for me was the turning point for me for your character when I said no, she actually does, like, she really does love Raylla, and that was my like final like nail in the coffin, saying yep, I'm backing this 100%. So when it got to the point now where obviously episode 7 comes around and you had that you and Taylor Hickson did such a beautiful job in this scene between the two of you, and it had me in tears. So that was another just mind-blowing scene for me. So kudos to you and the entire scene, because I imagine that had to have been extremely hard to film.
Thank you so very much. It was, I know it sounds weird, but it was fun in all of its hardship, because we knew, I mean, we used a lot of ourselves. Like, both me and Taylor, we had to hug it out after, and that's saying for both episode 7 and 9. But it was just, it was such an intimate moment when we both put ourselves in that mindset. And I remember we had to thank the crew afterwards, because they showed such tremendous and unbelievable respect. I mean, people, if their job is to design and set up the light, that doesn't mean they're emotionally invested in what's happening in the scene. But the way people treated our work with respect that day was just, we felt like acting royalty or something. It was like, wow, thank you for giving us the absolute best preconditions to do this properly.
Move into the second season, your character has had a lot of hard emotional scenes to film. Are you kind of hoping that maybe in the second season we see a little bit more lighter scenes for her?
Well, I mean, I do have some theories about the world, but I find it really hard to fantasize about Silla's future, because I don't have a brain for her working forward. I have just a brain for like her past life. So whatever Elliot in the writing room gives me, that will be my fate, and I'm just happy to jump on board.